Kopka. She is speaking a 15 to 20-minute speech from the Professional Speaker Manual, the keynote address, I am not grieving, I am growing. Prepare yourself to hear a positive approach to redefining widowhood with a laugh and how leaning into the role and language is essential to your health as a widower. Here to kick off this year's theme, Finding Your Tribe, the support you need for resilience, growth, and empowerment. Designed for widows and the support services representatives at this annual International Widows Day Conference. Help me welcome a one-time audience member, caregiver, widow, and now an expert lecturer, Megan Kopka.
Thank you for that introduction. Yes, not only your speaker, but also the card-carrying member. Could be a participant, audience member. What is the Modern Widows Club? Well, the word widow causes a lot of people to feel uncomfortable. Why do we need to collect together months, years, decades after the loss of our spouse? And the reason why is we all have a tribe. Community is healthy, it's important. We have the tribe we were born into called family. Like them or not, leave them or love them. Sometimes they might feel like when you share your pain or your feelings that their reaction is insipid or they are afraid. Maybe they'll be a widow someday too. Well, chances are 70% of women will be widowed. So it's less like being a widow or this scornful word and more like just being a life phase that one should plan for and get ready for. Sometimes when I share with my natural tribe, my family, how I'm feeling, the reaction will be something that goes like or sounds like, I really don't know what to say. My mom's a widow, my sister's a widow, my daughter, you, are a widow, and I've been married for 49 years. I'm like, oh Jesus, well stop with that, I don't know what to say. And let's drop that I've been married for 49 years. Come this October, I'll celebrate my 24th anniversary, 24th wedding anniversary. But I was only married for 18 years. So 49 years makes me feel a little jealous. It makes me feel like my tribe isn't hearing me. So why the Modern Widows Club? Because community is good for you and you're around like-minded people. One of the TED Talks that I saw that I really enjoy is a woman who's talking about widowhood and how not to tell people to get over it. And it goes like this. You just had a new baby, and we had a baby shower, and we sent you a gift. And here we are, 5 years later, at a 5th birthday, still celebrating? Are you kidding? Can we get over it? Did this child really have an impact on your life? Did their birth change you? Get over it. My God, how many gifts do we have to get? How long do we have to listen to them and their impact on your life? It's not a get over it phase. It's a moving forward. It's not moving on. It's moving forward. There was a great book that I read by Joan Didion called The Year of Magical Thinking. I enjoyed it so much that I not only read the book, I went and saw Catherine Turner star in almost a 2-hour monologue play called The Year of Magical Thinking, where she played Joan Didion. In this book, anyone who has not experienced the loss of a spouse will tell you this book is about grief. But I'm going to tell you, this book to me was a book about shock, about the physical condition of a human going through shock, that bowling ball in your throat, that constant shaking. It is her first year of her mind playing dementia-like tricks on her when she's losing a spouse. I'm so grateful that I read that book in year 2 and could reflect how far I've come, that I'm glad I'm not stuck in that year of magical thinking. So we talked a little bit about where we've been and how we can relate to one another. Let's talk about where we're going, because we need to change the word widow and the reaction to it, this scorned woman. Throughout history, women were widowed women were treated like they should be isolated and alone. And just like we don't tell our children when they're sad, like, well, you're crying, please go away until you feel better. Let's not talk about it, just go away till you feel better. We don't do that. So we're here to help each other, but we're also here to help educate the world. I'd like to also say in that first year, we'll make an analogy that you're like, in life, widowed or not widowed, a dribbling basketball. Life happens, you have stressors that happen, and you're being dribbled along in life. So that dribble, that bounce, might be puberty, going to kindergarten, graduating from high school. You have some sort of change and you bounce back. And like everyone in the world, sometimes we get a little deflated and we need air breathed into us so we can bounce back. And I would argue to say that losing a spouse is one of the hardest things to bounce back from. You need a lot of air breathed into you, a lot of air to get you pumped up to be able to bounce back. And sadly, in the years of dark grieving, life doesn't happen in a vacuum. You're still being dribbled. Or maybe you're just getting pushed against when stressors happen and you're flat and you're not able to get off the ground. And it's like you're getting pushed down lower. Secondary losses are a true struggle. The one that shocked me the most was loss of confidence. I was a confident woman before my husband. I was a confident woman during my husband. And I was completely shocked how much losing a spouse, being a wife, had defined me and who I was. How much seeing him every day was part of my life. When you lose a spouse, I don't have to tell you, but it affects every single part of your life. So when people say, I know just how you feel, I lost my grandpa. Whew, that's a tough one. You have to be prepared to find out, to be able to express to people that this is something that's going to go on and on and on. So we're here to find solutions and to empower one another, which is pretty hard to do because a lot of times you need statistics. People want to quantify things. They want a timeline. You need statistics. The last comprehensive research that was done on widowhood was in 1996, and the book title is called The Current Widow. There has been no study since. In the financial world, they will tell you the average age of a widow is 55. And then in the next article you read, you will see that 75% of women will be widowed by the age of 56. Or then you will see the average age of a widow is 59.6. Okay, all right, well, where is the census data? And we don't know. So we've talked about the negative side of grief, that dark cloak of negative emotions that drains you and that probably drains the people around you. And now we need to talk about the growth, because we're going to grow and become more resilient so we can empower others, so we can affect change in the world with our language and by our example. So just like grief drains, it raises your cortisol level, it stresses your adrenal system. You can have growth from positive stress, and it's called eustress. You can find it in camaraderie and empowerment. The Modern Widows Club wants you to do widowhood better. They want you to thrive in healthy ways, and there are 7 pillars that they have identified. It's not just they have identified. There's a general commonality that maybe life is love, that life is meaningful work and meaningful relationships, part of the community here. But there are other ways that you can be healthy. The 7 pillars are, number 1 is physical health. 2, emotional health. 3, your spiritual health. 4, encapsulates loving relationships, whether those are with your children, who want you to be the mom that you were before, or those loving relationships being new, romantic, intimate relationships, or your loving relationships in this room. The 5th pillar is finding purpose and meaning. The 6th is financial health, which is huge, Huge. And the 7th is fun and creativity. So the Modern Widows Club believes that while you're moving forward, you can turn and reach back. You can find people that are still cloaked in that dark grief, the negative, draining energy, and help them find the right grief groups for them. Because this is not a grief support group. This is a life support group. This is about, sure, asking the tough questions and dealing with some sadness, but it's more about finding the healthy path and the ways to walk in the qualities and finding the qualities that you want to have in these pillars, these areas where you can find some resilience and empowerment. Moving forward and reaching back means that you'll find other people in your tribe, your new tribe of widows, people who have the commonality that understand the significance and the loss in the areas of your life that have been touched by the loss of someone that you love deeply, that you expected to be in your life for much, much longer. You are not alone, and you can express your true self. Amongst the tribe is a time where you can feel like you are emotionally supported, you are heard, and you are understood. That is also a common need of humanity. I will add in the fun and creativity the word adventure. And you can break that into 2 words, adding, venture. So I encourage you all today, as you go forth and looking at the pillars of your life, that you look at it, all of these aspects, as adding ventures, as an adventure to you, to your heart, to your soul, and to the things that make you tick. Part of the purpose of empowering our comrades and reaching out and finding that sense of belonging is to find a sense of normalcy, to be able to have a conversation not only amongst one another, but out in the world to other people, so they don't say things like, you must still be grieving. No, I just value human life, right? I had someone in my life that was so valuable that at times I still want to celebrate him. At times, he still brings tears to my eyes because he's not seeing what I'm seeing. So sure, there's a sense of loss, but am I grieving? Am I shaking on the ground? Am I trembling? Can I not eat? Can I not swallow? Can I not talk? And the reality is no. I get so excited on the achievements that I've had, the growth that I've had, because I know he'd be so proud of me. But it doesn't make me not miss him. And that makes me human. I valued somebody who was so valuable in my life. Changing the language is super important. Many of us will never forget that catalyst, that last moment that you were called a wife and the first moment you became a widow. It occurred in one last breath. And although there is tragedy, and although there is pain and suffering, what we're here to learn today will help move us forward and be able to celebrate those lives and where we are today. My marriage doesn't get celebrated anymore. My marriage ended. But I still have an anniversary. I still have someone that I shared a magical day with. I still have children that I had someone who was fully in it as much as I was, as much as I am. And that person is gone. So from milestones and catalysts that are still hard, you have your tribe to bond with, to be able to share in some of those sorrows and hardships, but also to be able to resolve and find a way to move forward so you can grow into the new person that you are as a widow, so you can be more resilient in the things that life is going to throw at you, the constant dribbling of negative and positive stresses without your life partner. And so you become an empowered widow that can help move forward in your own life, help move other people forward in your own tribe, whether it's the tribe of widows or your natural tribe of family. And then you will become empowered and be able to help widows around the world that are not as fortunate that are losing their children because they're no longer considered fit parents who can financially afford the burdens of family life. People in other countries that do not have the advancement, technology, and understanding that we do. When you find your resiliency, when you are able to grow, when you are able to leave this conference and feel empowered, I hope that you find altruism.